much for joining us in our first interview in our APTNJ Student Assembly interview series, in which we interview physical therapists who are leaders in our profession. I have Dr. Aguila right here. Thank you so much for taking the time out for this interview.
Thank you, Mercedes. Thank you for inviting me.
Wonderful.
I'm happy we're doing this.
Thank you. I'm so happy because you were in my therapeutics exercise class. You're one of the TAs, and I had the privilege of learning from you. And I can't wait for everyone else to know your story because it's very inspiring, very nice story.
Thank you.
So if you want, we can start a little bit more about that. I know that you were from the Philippines.
Yes. So I originally am from the Philippines. I graduated from my bachelor's in physical therapy in the Philippines back in 1999. And after that, right after graduation, I did not actually practice as a physical therapist. I joined the pharmaceutical industry right after for almost 3 years. And it was in 2002 that I migrated into the country, not as a physical therapist primarily, but because my college sweetheart then, Beth Aguila, who's also a physical therapist, who's also your TA, and I decided to get married, and it wasn't a question that I will have to make the move and transition here in the United States. So that was when So I moved to the United States, first in New York for a few months, then to New Jersey because of Penn's job. And at first, I was really tremendously enjoying my position and my job in the pharmaceutical industry. But at the same time, I was thinking, well, there's got to be more that I have to be doing, I think. And that was actually what led me to think, maybe I can go back to actually what my intended profession was really in the first place. So I volunteered and worked for almost a year in different therapy places as a physical therapy aide while preparing for my board exams. And I gave myself a timeline. So within a year, I took my boards, passed it, and immediately after, working different facilities, I knew I already loved practicing in outpatient physical therapy, but I wanted to make sure, and I really wanted to learn different facilities and how they treat patients. That way I can learn more about the continuum of care. And that I think really helped me. I think become a better physical therapist as an outpatient physical therapist, knowing what the patients go through, and I had better understanding as well of the challenges that my colleagues had in each facility. So that's my journey into the physical therapy profession in New Jersey.
Wow. And I know that when you were a student, you had a professor that inspired you, Dr. Myrella.
Well, actually, I have to say, back in 2007, Ben and I decided that, looks like the profession it was years before that, right? But the profession is already transitioning to be a doctoring profession. So we decided to go back to school. At that time, we didn't have kids yet. It was actually a few months after I started school that I was pregnant with our first child. And it was really through my education at Rutgers, through their transitional classroom doctorate program at that time, that I felt like I really opened my eyes, to what the physical therapy profession was all about. And I'm very fortunate, just like you are, to have professors who are leaders in our field, both academically and also in the professional organizations, and Dr. Mayala. I was actually in Dr. Mayala's class, professionalism class, and that's where I really learned about the APTA and what it was doing for me. So that was how I didn't get actively involved right away. It was always at the back of my mind to get involved. But eventually I did.
Wonderful. And what led you to become so involved today? How do you think it helps you as a professional, your involvement?
The adage, to give is to receive. I think that really exemplifies how it is to serve. There's a lot of sacrifices involved, of course. course. But what really led me to serve before the APTA was that we started the foundation for Filipino or Philippines-based physical therapists, Ben and I, called Future Foundation. And I was sharing what we were doing with Dr. Supi.
Yeah.
And that was actually how, she learned about it. She was very happy about what we were doing. And unfortunately, the practice of the physical therapy in the Philippines is not yet where we are right now, but we are moving there, which is a great thing. And I think that the Filipino physical therapists still need a lot of mentorship. So that's actually what we've been doing, is that going back, and teaching, offering whatever it is that we can towards the development of the profession back home. So that is what I've shared with Supi. And, she was very thrilled, because the other thing is that, like I was telling you earlier, I did not really know about the APTA having been foreign educated. And that is what one of our messages is that I hope that for those who will migrate, that they actually join the APTA early on in their career, like not wait later on, see beyond the fees, see beyond it's expensive, and really appreciate what it does for us as professionals. And I think it was Supi who actually nominated me to run for council of director position. And I took on the challenge. It was not an easy decision, but I'm very happy that I did.
Wonderful. That's great. And I know that when I emailed you a couple of days ago, you were in a conference in Asia on the plane coming back home. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, the Philippines just recently had, a week ago, we hosted the Asian Confederation for Physical Therapy Congress. So there are Asian countries that's part of the ACPT, that met in the Philippines in Cebu City. And they also extended the invitation to Dr. Kirsch, or Dr. Nancy Kirsch. And I was able to invite Dr. Kirsch, and thankfully, she said yes. So Dr. Kirsch and I actually flew to the Philippines, and Dr. Kirsch gave the plenary talk on ethics and professionalism, which I was very happy about, because that also helped me a lot as a professional, and also in my individual, life right now. Not just right now, but I'm sure also in the future. And that's what I hope that the Filipino PTs will also hear. And it was great that they heard it from no less than Dr. Kirsch herself, who, as you know, is a big ethical professionalism guru even here. So I also gave a talk, a symposium on cultural perspective of elderly care. So, helped out. And I also did a workshop on yoga as an active intervention for physical therapy. So we had a great time. It was very tiring, but it was nice to meet different delegates from Asia, compare notes, share our culture. So
that's really fun. I'm so happy that you're kind of like that bridge, because they relate to you.
Yes.
So that was really great that you're able to be there and talk to them.
Yes. It was on a Thanksgiving week, so a little bit of sacrifice.
Oh, wow.
This was the first time that we as a family, as you know, we celebrate Thanksgiving here, and we're very big on that. So there was no turkey this year at home. I still have to make up for that, but thankfully, Ben did a great job, and my mom also, did a great job, making sure that it was still very festive for the kids. So we're going to do that in a few weeks after my jet lag and everything.
I know you're also a big part in the Cultural Diversity Committee. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that for those who may be unfamiliar?
Oh, yes, I would love to. So the Cultural Diversity Committee has been in existence in the APTJ New Jersey since 2001. But when I actually looked up, the rest of the activities, it hasn't really been active. And thankfully, our Cultural Diversity Committee chair, Jasmine Tools, actually contacted the APTA New Jersey just before I joined as a director. So I am working closely with Jasmine, in the Cultural Diversity Committee as liaison to the group. and also actually as a liaison to all the PT schools and the students actually.
Oh, wow.
Because yeah, we in the APTA recognizes the role of the schools and also of course of the students, for the profession of our future, for the future of our profession, I'm sorry. And we would really love to have your insights. We would really have to have more active membership from the student body, because you are going to be the future professionals, and you look at things with a new perspective, maybe things that we have not considered. So we would love to hear from you guys. We have different activities, and our objective, of course, primarily is to try to recruit, and engage more minorities into the profession, which is also serving and also fulfilling the overall one of the overall objective of the APTA when it comes to increasing diversity within the profession. If we are going to be a profession that's going to be forward facing, addressing population health, then we also have to be a profession that reflects the diversity, I think, culture that the nation right now is facing. And especially in New Jersey, we're a very diverse state.
Right.
So, what better, I guess, way to model that.
That's great. Do you guys have any events that are coming up?
Well, yes, we are actually hoping to have another. Well, we had our first multicultural night during the spring conference. We're hoping that we can host that as well. And then we're also hoping to actually one of our Rutgers students, Emma Arabia, and also some of her, I'm sure you know Emma, right? Yeah. And some of her classmates also started a language club, hopefully, which we can, again, the APTA New Jersey hopefully can be a bridge to. We've also been doing Explore the Magic of Motion. I don't know if you've heard of it. So basically, it's the program that was developed by our chairperson, Jasmine Tools, which was originally geared towards Girl Scouts. So she invites like different Girl Scouts and from different areas, and we go to the clinics, to a host clinic, and we introduce the girls to what the physical therapy profession is. We teach them about stress management, and we also teach them how to correlate movement, with their vital signs. Hopefully encourage them how to eat healthy and make movement part of their everyday activity. So it's very exciting. So far, we've had 4 in the area. We just hosted the last one recently in Jersey City. And, we're inviting a lot of you guys, students, to hopefully participate in it. Another thing is that we're trying to go to the schools. You don't have to wait until you become a professional to be part of the activities in the APTA New Jersey, because there's a lot of things that you can do even now as a student. Primarily, actually just first is by being aware, of the things that we're doing, hopefully participating in our conferences. And there's one thing that I think that's very much something that we would need help with the students is that, especially for those who graduated in New Jersey during their high school years, we're trying to be more involved in the school's career day and career fairs, and hopefully you guys can talk more about our profession. Physical therapy is a very young profession. I don't think that when I was 5, when I said I wanted to be a doctor, physical therapy was not in mind. And if we really wanted to further grow our profession, it is our responsibility as physical therapists to really talk about that. And I think that we have to go down to the community level, and talk about increasing physical therapy profession and consciousness for kids as young as, well, I went to a charter school in Jersey City as young as kindergarten. I think, it's never too, I guess, young to get them aware of what we do as physical therapy, away from, the traditional medical model of how it is being a doctor. Yes. And if not, at least make them more aware and hopefully make them more active, and have them aware of what activity does for them. So
It's so funny that you mentioned about going to other schools, because I remember a physical therapist came to my high school, and that's how I got into physical therapy. So,
so there you go.
It's really great that you guys are doing that.
Yes, and like I said, there's only so much that we can do as a committee. We hope that students are going to be more involved. You just imagine if like each of the students that actually went to New Jersey went back and volunteered to each of their schools. That would have been
that's really
nice.
nice.
So we're also hoping that most of our activities will count towards CE units, if that's possible. I hope that it's not the only reason why you guys are going to join. But if it's something that's going to count towards your credits, then why not as well?
That's great. Thank you so much for all of your insight. I personally love to learn about what other people like to read. If you have like a book or article recommendation.
I love reading C.S. Lewis. I don't know if you're familiar with, well, one of his more popular stories would be the Chronicles of Narnia. But I also like, what I would recommend though would be the Screwtape Letters.
All right.
Get your hands on that, like you're going to have a little break. I think that would be a very good reading for Christmas break, very reflective, but at the same time humorous. And I wish I'd get more, like out of it as I did when I read it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I look forward to that. Thank you, Dr. Aguila, for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you're also going to be in the student conclave in January.
Yes, I will be in the student conclave in January together with a couple of other speakers, and I will be presenting on the cultural competence part of elderly care. So I look forward to sharing that. It's going to be on an East meets West type of context, being that I'm from Asia. Yes. But hopefully we can expand that to include more cultures in the future.
Great. And I will leave a link to the event down below. I know that you're also in a PT Pinecast with Dr. Myrella. I will leave a link to the podcast and as well as the Cultural Diversity Facebook page.
All right. Thank you so much, Mercedes.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a happy holiday.
Thank you. You too. And thank you to everyone. And hopefully everyone has a nice holiday as well.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.